looks like they are getting fairly close to being done. And while they are, we'll take a look around the track here at the new dirt layout. Now, I do believe we are set for the dirt to reset at the start of each session, so that'll at least give these drivers a fresh track every time they get out there. That'll be beneficial to everybody. All right, looks like we're about to go to heat number 1. Let's see if we can take a look at the grid for heat number 1. Looks like we're going to have David Cannon up front, followed next to AJ Godsey, then Bill Percy, Brandon Springer, Stephen Gibson, Harley Barletta, Kevin Reed, James Scruggs, and me. Oh, now I know why we couldn't see qualifying. I did not hop in the session correctly. All right, so it's on me. In the meantime, get ready. And at this battle at the front, now I did mention that David Cannon is Bill Percy's nephew. And Jared, you were just out there. Who do you think has the best bet of beating Garmin?
Probably David Cannon. We'll see how he does when the track slicks off. Because AJ is real quick up top. He was running some good lap times whenever the thing slicked off. But I think one to watch might be Harley. Whether he doesn't do well or whether he does do really well.
Well, this first heat will definitely be the one to watch. He's back there in the 81 car. So, yeah, we'll definitely keep a camera on him this time around. That'll tell the tale. It looked like in practice he had quite a few good laps, but then would end up with getting into somebody a lot of times no fault of his own, just bad luck.
Yeah, and it takes some time to learn how to run dirt cars. You don't just jump in a car, in any day and just say, "Hey, I'm going to run this type of car now." There's a certain way to run a dirt car. You have to figure that out, and if you don't know that, then you might struggle a bit. But we'll see.
Yeah, it will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if we have a David and David show at the end of the night. At least in these cars, seeing David Cannon that far up front, and he was significantly faster than Garmin, and he was even faster than AJ at the end of practice.
Yeah. Dave Garmin seems to say there's only one line. AJ disagrees. Who missed the start here? Brandon.
It looks like Brandon Springer did not make it.
So we'll see if AJ does have a high line later. It's not going to be in here now. AJ's going to struggle probably to stay with Dave Cannon the first heat because the track's just too good. But it seems to me we have BRR in one heat and Outcast in the other heat, just with a few outliers, which is pretty funny.
That is kind of ironic, the way that it did split out, but that could either be very, very good or very, very bad. Each league will get to see who's the fastest in the other league and who they need to keep an eye out for, so it could make things interesting.
I know how good AJ is, so
yeah. Yeah, and another one to watch, I think, will be Stephen Gibson. He was quite fast in practice, and I think he didn't have a good qualifying run, but he might pull something off here. And Bill Percy qualifying where he did was really impressive this time. I know he's been practicing at it all day. We'll see what happens.
Bill was talking a lot today, so hopefully he can back something up.
Hopefully so. Looks like the pace truck is diving onto pit road. Waiting for it. Green flag in the air. Lap number 1, and here they go.
He went real low there, and he held it.
Yeah, that was quite impressive. I was not expecting. They're still coming up to speed a little bit going through there, but he managed to hold on to it pretty well. AJ's still with him, though, on the fresh track. Almost got together there.
Yeah, he caught him. He caught him in a hurry going down the back. So we screwed up a little bit there.
Harley Barletta has actually moved up a couple positions since the start, too.
These guys have taken off 2 laps in. They're gone already.
Yeah, they're... They are more or less in another zip code at this point, and now David Cannon is running away from AJ. As
It's a 3 wide for fourth.
oh
Oh
my
man,
God, this is a battle back here. You got Kevin Reed, Stephen Gibson, Bill Percy, and Harley Barletta all mixed up in that little group right there.
I gotta get these guys to set their numbers. I didn't realize Kevin was the 15.
I didn't either until qualifying session, but yeah, there he is. And I guarantee you those Outcast guys are watching those front two, but if they're smart, they're going to be watching this battle back here, because if any one of these guys gets clear, they might actually be able to pull away.
Yeah, Bill got away from him a little bit. He's doing well.
Take a look at some of their times in comparison and see. Bill Percy's been pretty quick so far. He is actually opening up a little bit of a lead on Stephen Gibson, but Stephen's actually started to close it back down. And Bill's actually closing his time down on AJ now as well. AJ and David Cannon just up front taking it fairly easy. I guarantee you, from the look of it, AJ is not pushing as hard as he could. He might now with one lap to go. Just doesn't seem like AJ's going 110% like usual, but here they come down the back straightaway. Final lap.
So I think AJ will be a force whenever the track moves up. When it's at the bottom, I don't think he's that ready.
Probably not. It is David Cannon, then AJ, Bill Percy, Steve Gibson, James Scruggs, Kevin Reed, Harley Barletta. Harley was charging forward, but drifted back a little bit. And Jared Heasley's got to go hop in his race car now. So we'll get to cheer on our co-commentator. He'll be with us whenever he's not on track, I should say. So this one, the starting grid will be David Garman on the pole, Doug Tyre Norton, then Ironman Chris Standridge, James Johnson, Jeff Parr Jr., Jared Heasley, Jim Cook, and Nick Frank all in the field tonight in heat number 2. And as you heard Jared say, it looks like we're going to have a 2-heat race and then a feature. So we will see how things go here shortly. David Garman, definitely one of the favorites here, as is that 22 of Chris Ironman Standridge. Both are favorites, but you got to, Jared Heasley spends a lot of time on dirt as well, so he could be one to surprise us all here tonight. He said he wasn't going to be the fastest one out here, but there's been times where he said he's not going to be the fastest and gone out and dominated. So we'll see what happens. If David Garman makes any mistakes in this second heat, he's about to have his hands full. And with Doug Tyre Norton there on the outside, he's been one that's been improving on dirt every single week in the Outcast Dirt League. So he's going to be one to watch as well. Pace truck should be diving in this time by. There goes that pace truck. David Garman will lead him down. Green flag is in the air. David gets a good jump out on the front straightaway. And now it is the 22 of Chris Standridge getting around Doug Norton. Wobbles a little bit down low on 1 and 2. Oh, we've got something going on back here. Looks like Jeff Parr and James Johnson got together a little bit back there. They both get clear. Jeff Parr now challenging. JJ now challenging for third place, and he's going to come up here and challenge for second from Chris Standridge. Meanwhile, this is all happening. Garman has just checked out. Not sure why our scoring is not working at the moment, but currently it is David Garman, then Chris Standridge. JJ Parr looking to make a move to the inside of Chris Standridge here. Can't quite get there. And it looks like JJ is starting to slow down a bit. Here comes Doug Norton from behind. He closes right back up to the back bumper. Meanwhile, up front, David Garman has opened up over a 1 second lead on the second place of Chris Standridge. Currently, the battle is for second through fourth place, though. You've got Chris Standridge in front, followed by J.J. Parr and Doug Norton right there. And J.J.'s starting to look to the inside. He gets down low through the center of the turn, gets back on it, can't quite commit after the corner. Here he comes again. He is running that low line. David Garman gets the white flag. That time by, David Garman opens up a small lead, and Chris Standridge does, and it is David Garman winning heat number 2, followed by Chris Standridge, J.J. Parr, Doug Norton, Jim Cook, and Nick Frank. Looks like Jared Heasley got wrecked out early on. And looks like we are jumping right into our feature race. All right, let's take a look at our lineup for this race. First off, you've got David Cannon and David Garman up front, AJ Godsey and Chris Standridge in the second row, Bill Percy and JJ Parr third row. Then you got Stephen Gibson and Doug Norton, James Scruggs and Jim Cook, Kevin Reed, Nick Franks. Then Harley Barletta, Jared Heasley, Brandon Singer, and James Johnson round out the field. Hopefully our scoring will work this time. There we go. Just waiting on them to count down and get the green flag here in just a moment, and we will go 30 laps. Don't forget to stick around. Shortly after this, we're going to have the 360 winged sprints here. As they get the pace laps down, looks like those front 2 rows will be the ones to compete with, but it'll be mid-pack where we see a lot of action. JJ Parr there in the 11 car, he was one that was charging forward in his race. In his heat, we'll see if he can move up. Bill Percy is going to be another one to watch in the 95. Doug Norton was working his way up as well. And you never count out guys like Kevin Reed, Harley Barletta, Jared Heasley, and James Johnson in these dirt cars. David Garman in the black and purple on the outside. David Cannon in the gray to the inside. Pace truck is in. We are going green flag racing at Bristol. Green flag is in the air. David Cannon leads him down. He gets up a little bit to the high side there, trying to cut off David Garman's line. David way up there, loses second place. Chris Standridge surprisingly slips back and loses a position as well. Bill Percy on a mission tonight. Bill in the 95 car trying to put on a heck of a show here. He gets a little squirrely there in the middle of the corner. Not sure if him and David got together. It looks like Harley Barletta might have gone to the pits, but we've got a wreck. Looks like Bill Percy is involved. Let's try and take another look at that. Looks like Bill got a little squirrely on the outside there. got too loose in the corner. Looks like JJ Parr got connected and collected the 9 car as well. That brings us under our first caution of the night. Looks like David Cannon currently in the lead. AJ Gotze is up to second now. David Garman is third. Chris Standridge is fourth. You got JJ Parr up in fifth. Well, let's see who some of the biggest movers are. Jared Heasley has picked up 4 positions, now up to 10th. Then you got Brandon Springer, has moved up several positions, as has James Johnson. Brandon Springer up to 11th. He's picked up 4 spots since the beginning. James Johnson up to 12th after picking up 4 spots early on. There is Brandon and James right behind him. Currently, the BRR Dirt King is David Garman, but looks like he might get some comeuppance here tonight. That David Cannon, extremely fast. Be interesting to see how it plays out tonight. Looks like Heasley, no, he did not go into the pits. Bill Percy is on pit road. Looks like Harley Barletta currently showing 1 lap down. Harley Barletta may be out. We'll have to check on that. Should be getting 1 to green here. Let's see. AJ Gotze moves up to the outside line. They'll line up 2 wide on the restart. JJ Parr pulling right up to the back bumper of David Garman. He definitely knows who to follow here on these dirt tracks. It looks like we're looking at a David and David show, and AJ's just getting in the way of that show right now. We'll see what happens. Pace truck should dive off right now. There he goes. Green flag is in the air. David Cannon gets a good jump, and Garman to the inside of AJ Gotze. Battle going on. The 22, Chris Standridge, moves back a spot. Looks like we had an accident. Kevin Reed involved in the 15 car. Got a slow start, got up to the wall, and Jared Heasley got into the back of him with nowhere to go, and that brought us under our second caution. Do believe that the 15 of Kevin Reed should be okay. And Nick Frank's still in this battle. Good job by him. He has picked up a couple of spots already. And he is fairly new to dirt, so good job for him to be in this competition still. Meanwhile, David Cannon still up at the front. He might be just going and putting on a clinic before this night's out. And it looks like there are still some scoring glitches iRacing needs to work out this week from the patches, but we've got Bristol dirt, so nobody cares. We just want to go fast. as they pace. And I do believe the caution laps are not counting tonight as per normal with dirt track racing. That will slick the track off a little bit sooner under green flag conditions since they're pacing around. We'll see how that affects some of these guys. AJ Godsey said before the race that he was faster once it slicked off, so we'll see if that rings true before the night's out. It'll be interesting to see the guys up front right now, who's going to be up front once they get to in the 360s here in a bit, if there will be any difference in who's at the front and who's at the back. Harley Barletta and Bill Percy both back on the track. Kevin Reed did not pit, so he is still out there. Back in, looks like 13th now. Green delayed for a lap due to getting some guys lined up correctly. But the lights are out on the pace car again, so we will go green flag racing next time by. Still David Cannon and AJ Godsey in the front row, David Garman and Chris Standridge in the second row, JJ Parr and Doug Norton third row, James Scruggs and Jared Heasley are 7th and 8th. 9th and 10th is James Johnson and Nick Franks. Pace truck is in. David Cannon gets another good jump as soon as the pace truck hits pit road. AJ Godsey predicted it this time and stayed with him, and now the track's slicking off. That is what AJ likes to see. David Garman doesn't care either way. He's just going to go for it. The front four, nose to tail. Here comes Chris Standridge. That 22 car already looking to the outside of Garman. Will he be able to get a run off turn 2? Meanwhile, this second pack is battling side by side all the way around. There's Jared Heasley on the outside in the green and orange car. You got Doug Norton in the front in the yellow car. And several cars in between them right there. You got JJ Parr, Doug Norton, James Scruggs, James Johnson, Jared Heasley all right there together. These positions could change at any moment. The battle for the lead is still David Cannon and AJ Godsey, but David Garman and Chris Standridge right there in striking distance. JJ Parr's closed right up to the back bumper of both of them. Doug Norton has managed to break away from his little group there. Jared Heasley is starting to pick up some more positions as well. Currently running in 8th, trying to run down 7th place. James Scruggs right now. Jared Heasley makes a pass for 7, gets a little bit of a tap going off into the turn. Everybody manages to keep the car straight. Jared loses a couple of positions there. Back up front as we have 2 distinct packs now. 21 laps to go. They are still battling for that top spot, and it looks like David Cannon just cannot get away from the 5 car of AJ Godsey or the 2 car of David Garman. Both right there, and the 22 of Chris Standridge. Doug Norton had jumped away from the group just a little bit, but Jared Heasley is closing right back up on him, as is Steven Gibson. Jared's about to have his hands full. The car of James Johnson right there on his back bumper as well. Looks like Steven Gibson might be having some connection problems. Jared Heasley gets by, and here comes James Johnson to the inside of Heasley. Meanwhile, you got a battle going back here. Jim Cook and Steve Gibson looks like for 9th and 10th still going on. Got a couple of cars. Brandon Springer's being shown on pit road at the moment. David Cannon has opened up his lead. David Garman moves up into second. Chris Standridge is making a move for third now. Looks like AJ Gotze is going backwards a little bit here. Chris Standridge seems to have quite an advantage on AJ all of a sudden. Closes right up to the back bumper. He should be able to get by in the next couple of laps, it looks like. And JJ Parr is sitting back there waiting for somebody to make a mistake, and he will capitalize on it. I can tell you these top five, though, they do not make very many mistakes. If you see one, you better hop on it and make it work for you. You won't get a second chance. Lap traffic is now about to come into play for David Cannon. That is Nick Frank in 12th space, in 12th position, right in front of David Cannon. Oh, almost get a little tap. Leader gets down to the low side, and he is going to go. Should be able to clear him going into 1 and 2. Nick Frank stays high. Leader gets by. Didn't lose much time on that. 12 laps to go. AJ Gotze gets a little bit of a tap into the back of Nick Frank. Manages to hold on to it. Meanwhile, mid-pack, Jared Heasley has now moved up to 7th and is trying to run down Doug Tyre Norton. Not much of a change here. Chris Standridge still trying to get around AJ Gotze for third. Drifts right up next to him. Manages to hang on to it, though. Looks like Steven Gibson has gone a lap down. I think some of his connection issues might be playing havoc on his race here tonight. 22 Ironman Chris Standridge has backed off just a little bit after almost getting into AJ, trying to regain that run there. JJ Parr trying to close back up on these leaders. Meanwhile, David Cannon continues to run away from the field. He's got almost a 1 second lead over David Garman. That is not something you see every day, folks. David Garman is one of the better dirt track drivers out there. AJ back into third. Chris Standridge still trying to close back up. JJ Parr in fifth. Doug Tyre Norton in sixth. And oh, we've got a crash. Steven Gibson looked like he got down into the turn and just got up into the wall. A little too much wall ride, and that brought us under our caution. David Cannon out there looking for the pace truck. He finds it. David Garman right there, and David Garman needed this caution. He was losing time on David Cannon. Now we'll get to see a battle as they come down. To the final laps, we will see which one is better as David Garman is now closed back up. Cannon had over a 1 second lead. This was definitely not something he wanted to see here. So currently, as they run, is David Cannon first, David Garman second, AJ Gotze third, Chris Standridge fourth, JJ Parr is fifth, Doug Norton, Jared Heasley, James Johnson, James Scruggs, and Jim Cook round out your top 10. Steven Gibson and Nick Frank 11th and 12th. Looks like Kevin Reed and Brandon Springer are on pit road. Harley Barletta and Bill Percy are a couple of laps down. Several laps down. Looks like some of these guys might be out of the contention here. Bill Percy saying he may have given you didn't take out David Garman, so next time do that a little better. But you had a great run going, Bill. Congratulations. That was a great race, buddy. Hopefully we'll see Bill Percy back in the 360s here in just a little bit. And while we're under caution, just a huge shout out to everybody in both of these leagues for helping raising money for the MS Society and other MS charities this month. It is MS Awareness Month, so take a few minutes, learn a little something about it if you can, and if you can donate, even better. Between all the leagues broadcasted here at HTSAI, we managed to raise over $400 in less than 36 hours. Truly an impressive feat for everybody here, and we really appreciate that from all of them. Looks like the lights are out on the Pace truck. And will that 12 car be able to hold back that 06 or the 12 and the 2? AJ's running, or Corman's running a slightly different number tonight, but there they go. David Cannon gets another good jump on the right on the green flag, and he is off into turn one trying to open it up. They've got 5 laps to go. Looks like Jared Heasley almost in the wall back there as he battles for 7th place. He's got James Johnson trying to get around. Meanwhile, up front, David Cannon is just gone again. David Garman has nothing for the youngster. AJ Godsey is on the move as well, but here comes Chris Standridge trying to get to 3rd. He's been trying the whole race. Will he be able to get there? He gets through a little wobbly through the slick, and AJ's starting to look to the inside of Garman here. And we will be talking to the race winner after this, and we will go to 360s here in just a bit. As they come around, 2 laps to go, Cannon still has a good lead. David Garman can't seem to close up any time on him, but Chris Standridge right to the back bumper of AJ Godsey. Chris full send through the corner, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Meanwhile, up front, David Cannon is going to bring home the win here tonight. 2nd place is going to be David Garman. 3rd place is going to be AJ Godsey. Then Chris Standridge, JJ Parr, Doug Tyre, Norton, James Johnson, Jared Heasley, James Scruggs, Jim Cook round out your top 10. Let's see if we can find our winner to talk to. Actually not seeing him available to chat with, unfortunately. Let's see if we can talk to 2nd place David Garman. Hey Dave, this is Doug in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Doug.
We finally found somebody that can unseat your almighty power.
Yeah, you did. At least between these 2 leagues, we found somebody. Nah, it was good. He was really fast in the slick. I was watching him. I don't know how he was able to do it, but he did it. So congrats to him on the win. I'll take 2nd place.
Well, that was definitely a heck of a race. If that last caution hadn't come out, I don't know that you'd have gotten back to him. But you still had quite a battle with guys like AJ and Chris back there most of the race.
No, it was still a battle going on, even if it was just for 2nd place. Like I said, had a lot of fun with that one, and we're going to get geared up and ready to go in the 360s here in a little bit.
All right, man. Congratulations. We'll talk to you later.
See you.
All right. Let's see if I can talk to Chris Standridge real quick. Not seeing him available at the moment. So we can't talk to him, but we will talk. See if we can talk to AJ Godsey. He came home in third tonight. Hey AJ, this is Doug. You got me? Hey AJ, this is Doug. You got me? Looks like AJ might have stepped away from his car to go celebrate with his team. And we'll talk to our in-car reporter here. Hey Jared.
What's going on, Doug?
That was a tough battle. You managed to get up to about 8th, but you were battling the entire race.
I could not get past Doug Norton the entire race. There just isn't another line. Just isn't one. They just can't. I don't know. There just wasn't anything else I could do about it
I'm sure
to get him.
I'm sure you're going to hear about that again on Monday too. But so, how was the track? I haven't actually got to drive the Bristol dirt track yet. How was it out there?
It's pretty fun. It's pretty neat to see like how the track changes as things get rolling. Because like a lot of dirt tracks, you know, you slick off the bottom and the top comes in. That didn't seem to happen. It seemed like everybody would run the bottom for the so. I'm curious to see if the 360s are the same way, and if that goes in, comes in up top to create better racing. But in the 358s, it didn't. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, it was definitely an interesting race and one heck of a show. And congratulations, you definitely came from the back tonight.
Yeah, I could have done better than that. I was a little disappointed I hit the wall there at the end and got 8th, but I could have had 5th or 6th. We'll get the other session going here in about 5 or 10 minutes. We'll start a little bit early and get it done. Who knows what happens after that?
All right, man. I'm sure we'll talk to you here again in a few.
Yep.
All right, that was Jared Heasley, our other in-car reporter tonight. And we will try and get in touch with some of the Outcast boys for the 305 race, so stick around. We will be back in just a moment with the 360 winged sprints from Bristol Dirt. Don't go anywhere.